Me, 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 me. Hi. Hey. How's it going? Hope everyone is doing well. My head is shiny, that's a good sign. That means I'm healthy. Got a shiny, glossy head. Oh, how would you get a crown thing beside your name? I know it's Prime Gaming. The crown is for Amazon Prime. No, Twitch Prime, but you can get it through Amazon Prime as well. But yeah, the crown is Prime. Right. There's lots of stuff that's happened and happening, and we'll go through some of them. And if anyone would like to ask a question or change the topic or wants a specific question answered or just wants to go, you know what, we've still got this question in brackets and then ask whatever you want. I'll try to answer it. It can be about Star Citizen. It can be about YouTube. It can be about beautiful BoredGamer. I answer most stuff. I might be quite late in answering it because I'll have a talk, have a tangent, go off on a tangent. I'm having a tangent right now. Yeah, so obviously 3.15 is out live. With that, mainly you get your medical gameplay and your inventory and a few other stuff. It's actually pretty big changes. 3.15.1 is on the open PTU now, and that's got the Ares starfighters in it and the Redeemer, as well as new cloud tech and the sort of entrance hall to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. There's actually quite a lot more coming in 3.15.1, including easy anti-cheat and obviously all the new stuff that the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo brings. Do we still lose our flare items or anything we bought, not ships, when we die? You lose anything that was on your body. Yeah, so if you've got it on you, and then you fall over and die somewhere, you lost whatever was on your body. Yeah? You can go back to your body and go pick up again. And if it's a promo item or a special flare item or something you paid for real money or whatever, you will get that back either if you reset your character or with the next major patch, so 3.16. They are working out other ways of ensuring it for the future, maybe. Any further news on the Rylan? No further news on the Gatak Rylan. Is 3.15 under NDA right now? If so, if no, how epic are the clouds? It is not under NDA. Okay. There can be both EVA Carty builds and PTU builds running simultaneously. So technically EVA Carty builds are also PTU builds, but for the purposes of this, a PTU build is first wave or open PTU or whatever access to people that have not signed an NDA. There is a 3.15.1 build that is open PTU, I believe, to everyone. There can also be EVA Carty builds that might be testing other features. But yes, the clouds, they're in the 3.15.1 current build, and they're pretty clouds. We'll be having a video looking at that very soon. What else have we got? How do you use the new medical tool? So really, there's a couple of things going on with the new medical tool. You can get an attachment for the lifesaver, lifeguard, whatever attachment for your multi-tool. Don't do that. Yeah. Just buy yourself, I think they're called Paramed medical tools, the Medigun and its gel refill. You can buy them from pharmacies, and then you can point it at someone, and if you're close enough and left click, you will do the basic med pen heal. Yeah. So if they're downed on the ground, yeah, you'll get them back up. They'll get back up. I'm assuming they haven't been, they're not fallen over because of blood drug level, but they'll get back up. You'll heal them. You'll heal their health. Yeah, that's the basis of how to use it. When you're aiming down sights, you can sort of see the limb damage and everything. You have to aim down sights to actually use it. You can use it on yourself by pressing M. There's also load more stuff you can do with it. So when you're aiming down sights or whatever, when you're interacting with it, you can change it into advanced mode. and then you can actually do the individual drugs. So the individual drugs will treat particular types of injury, and if someone is knocked out because their blood drug level is too high or they're drunk, then you can use a resurger to wake them up and help clean their blood drug level. How do you use Game Glass? Oh no, do you use Game Glass? Yes, occasionally. I'm going to be doing a video review of it, the new one, because I've just bought a new touchscreen tablet, and I've got my old one as well, and so I've got a Microsoft Surface Go that I've just bought cheap. I think 120 quid. So what's that, $140-ish? And I've got my old Microsoft Surface, like 2 or something from back in the day, which I think you can probably pick up for about 50 quid now, probably, question mark. I'll look at that. And I'm going to be using my phones and stuff like that. I'm doing a bit of a review of that. Also, I wanted a new tablet for being able to take around my mates when we're doing like board games, because it's always nice to have a tablet for board games. You can look up the rules quickly. I've got an older one, which is very good. It's just I would wish it to be a bit snappier, so maybe I can do some work on it while I'm there as well. Nice. Benefit to waiting for the expo to trade up to an existing ship, i.e. the mole, as opposed to doing it right now. There might be other ships that you want more at the time. There might be the option of getting upgrades for a ship with lifetime or 10 years insurance. It's the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo this time looks like it's doing 10 years insurance. But you might be able to get that with upgrades as well, question mark. So that's one of the possible benefits. And there's obviously more ships to choose from. I've currently got 5 Mercury Star Runners parked outside of a 890 Chump as I keep dying due to bugs. My patience is slowly drooling. So a lot of the bugs are solved in 3.15.1, as in there's a lot of bug fixes for the current problems in the 3.15. I think 3.15 is actually still pretty playable. Like, I genuinely do. Oh, thank you very much for the love, Mawson. Appreciate it. Did you read the server meshing Q&A on Reddit? I read the server meshing Q&A on Spectrum, on the RSI website. So looking to get static server meshing in Q3, Q4 next year, which is good. That's sort of what we expected. It'd be great if they get it in for Q3, because that would suggest that Pyro is going to come at the same time, and with Alpha 4.0. So Alpha 4.0 for next year looks like the plan. Well, there's lots of other stuff there where they talk about details of 100, getting 100 players in and things like that for the servers. The AI is really good this patch. Well, I mean, it couldn't be worse for some of the AI. I'm glad, the servers are working a bit better with tick rates and things like that, which is good, genuinely good. Perfect. My chat broke. Right, what are you looking forward to at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo? So it's one of the busiest times of the year for my channel. I like to have a look around the expo hall, sort of detail what's on the store page that day, see if there's any cool deals, see if there's any cool stuff to do. I just generally like having a look around the expo hall and it changing every day. It's sort of quite a nice thing. It's a bit of a social experience to chat to other people about it as well. Why do they sell merch at the expo if it's going to go with the next wipe? They also sell the merch for real money as well. I do think that if you buy that sort of stuff in game, that you should keep it. However, that said, they sometimes have quite a long period with no wipe. So they sell merch because, I mean, you can buy it and eventually there will be no more wipes. The wipes are very rare now. I know we just had one with 3.15, but... Obviously, they wipe anytime they need to, and they're doing lots of weird database things at the moment, so that could be more often. On a Polaris. Yeah, I think we all want Polaris news. Maybe we'll get some of the IAE. Maybe we'll see at least the model of it. Your thoughts on server meshing, AMA? Was there anything surprising for you? So I was surprised by the fact they answered some questions much more, in much more detail. And they talked about what they want to do with server meshing. And they went, look, we want to get everyone, if possible, onto the same shard, one super global mega shard, if possible, one day. But it's going to be many steps towards that. That might not be possible with technology and latency, so we might just have to have regional shards. But you will be able to play with your mates still and move between those shards and things like that. So, I like the fact they talked realistic goals and, well, what's the redundancy if we can't do that? So I thought that was all pretty good. There was a lot of stuff that we already knew. There was a huge amount of stuff that we didn't know, or at least them confirming details on it with, like, well, yes, a single javelin can be its own server. However, the goal with all this sort of like server meshing is to have all of their servers being effectively utilized at any given time without being overburdened. And if they look like they're going to be overburdened, they rent more cloud space, or server cloud stuff. Cloud space, cloud servers. I really liked the Q&A. There will be a video coming out on it tomorrow. I did it the other day, but I don't really saw my videos at once. That would be madness. I was actually surprised by how close some of this sounds as well. Obviously, server meshing, static server meshing is sort of roughly planned Q3, Q4 of next year now. So I'm hoping it makes Q3 much more likely to be Q4. Polaris or Perseus? I love the Perseus, and I have things like a carrot already. So I'm going to be a bit more of a Perseus sort of bias. However, if you're looking for a multi-role, multi-crew ship of war, then the Polaris might be for you. Like, it's a strong ship. It's a cool ship as well. Like, how long do you think it will be until the next patch? Well, 3.15.1 comes out on the 19th of November. And then after that, you're looking sort of like mid to coming towards late December for 3.16. At least to the open PTU, in my opinion. It might be like, yeah, it's not ready for live yet, but we can open PTU it. What else have we got? There's actually... So, other stuff that coming at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, we do know there's 2 new ships in the vehicle, at the very least. Oh, there's 3 new things, and there's been rumours of exactly what they are from SE leaks and places like that. So, I mean, that's beyond the Ares, Inferno, and Ion, and the Redeemer, so there's other stuff beyond that. Is there any advantage to using the advanced mode on the medical tool and manually adjusting the med levels? I always use auto. Yes, sometimes. I mean, sometimes you might just want to wake someone up. You might not want to increase their blood drug level, things like that. There could be reasons for it. Yeah? But most people are going to be fine with just auto, I think. But sort of the question, by doing more missions of a single type, such as maintenance or search, do you get paid more over time? So, some missions effectively have chains, and you'll get better missions afterwards. There's also the reputation system, which will then get you better missions, and potentially better rewards for having a higher rep with the companies that give those missions. So, with some, yes. What percentage do you think Star Citizen is complete? That is too vague a question. It depends on what you're talking about over time. I mean, the gameplay area is very small amount complete, but the tools to build that area, that's extremely high completion. Gameplay mechanics and loops, moderate. Like, it's low, but it's still not like tiny percentage. But that's too vague a question. Soviet Union is not a question. Where to fix the system selection bug? I could not get into the PU at the moment. So, obviously try and relog. So go to support.orbitalspaceindustries.com. That bug is listed there. I'm not sure what the current fix for it is. It might be character reset. I've had that bug before and I fixed it. Or at least I've got around it somehow. Do you play Star Citizen outside of videos? You know the videos isn't me playing live, right? That's me playing in the past, so yes. Yeah, I play Star Citizen a reasonable amount. I say a reasonable amount. So, when it's not for filming, maybe I do. I play Star Citizen maybe about an hour not filming. But I film sort of everything. So, I probably play Star Citizen 4 to 5 hours a week. Sort of passively. And then any video and stuff that I need to make as well. So, that can be 20 hours of play. It can be 5 hours of play. During the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and CitizenCon stuff, well, it's going to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and when new patches come out, it's a lot more. PTUs and stuff like that. Love your face board. Happy IAE month. Thank you very much, Lucky Charms. Very much appreciate that. And I love your money, or your comments, or your name. Thank you. I appreciate the love. And the money. Hello, Ryan Moore. If you're doing well, sir. How do you customize your armor? Do you like using the same set, or do you mix and match from different sets? So, what do you mean, how do I customize my armor? You can't really customize it much at the moment beyond putting different armor on. I like white, clean armor for the most part. Although I'm loving the new person security armor. Oh, it is particularly attractive. It's just been put in the latest 3.15.1 patch on the PTU. It is fantastic. Have you noticed the lighting in this PTU? I logged in last night and it just seemed that things were more crisp. No, I hadn't really. So, I've had a problem with my computer for about a month, and that's damaged my frame rates quite significantly and caused a load of instability. And it's basically, I was using a riser cable for my graphics card. It's a quite expensive riser cable. So it's for PCI Express 4.0. And basically, riser cables, if there's noise around them, so electrical noise or various other things, or the cable's not perfect, then that can cause problems and issues. So I was having some of these issues. So I've put my graphics card down now into PCI Express 3 times mode, which it's not 3 times mode, it's Gen 3. But I've also turned on a load of stuff. So I've only just done that yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and my frame rates went. And so I'm writing a performance guide at the same time for Star Citizen 3.15. So things to keep in mind: resizable bar. I'm testing that out at the moment. So that's basically NVIDIA and AMD. They've got technology that allows the CPU and the GPU to basically just talk directly to each other, as I understand it. It skips a step, so it's quicker. I'm testing that at the moment, see if it's, because you can force it on in Star Citizen. Testing to see if it's worthwhile doing. I got a few frames increase. It looks like it's hard to tell. It did feel snappier. There's loads of, obviously, take your shaders folder. I disable Windows 10 diagnostic stuff, and that seems to actually do great work. Doing some stuff with your SSDs and things like that, speeding up. Doing some stuff with your cache files can help. So I'm doing all this stuff at the moment. But it's hard to tell. Lighting changes the hardest to tell. I can notice, it looks a bit better, question mark, for the first 10 seconds, and then it just goes back into the ambient. It goes into the background. And I'm sort of unless I had a side-by-side picture, I would not notice. First 5 minutes and I randomly blow up. Are you playing on 3.15 or 3.15.1? Both of which have bugs. But I actually think 3.15.0, the live build, is actually more buggy than the PTU build at the moment. Yeah, there's some interesting loot in the loot boxes. Some loot that does not appear anywhere else. Some people have seen, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure what... The problem is I'm not sure what's in the Evocati build and what's in the open builds. There's some interesting things. Will there be a lifetime insurance token during the IAE? So, yes. Well, there's going to be some cheaper stuff there. One of the new things is, as far as I'm aware, is pretty cheap. Also, the other lifetime insurance token that you sort of have access to now, potentially, is that Argo Cargo. So there's a referral bonus scheme at the moment. If you get someone to sign up before the 1st of December, you'll both get an Argo Cargo. If they sign up, they have to spend at least $40 during that period. They sign up with your code, spend at least $40. You both get an Argo Cargo. And that is a fully upgradable ship and effectively worth $35. So $35 off another ship, basically. The Clan Imperium studio expansion is mad. So they've got a new studio in Frankfurt and in Manchester, and the studios are much larger in both those places. So they've got like 400 employees at the moment in their UK Winslow studio, which is just next to Manchester, and they're moving more central to Manchester city centre, and it's got a space for 1,000 employees there. That's 600 more employees, although they might be merging both the Winslow and their Derby studios together. Derby's a little tiny studio, but and there's also the new one building in Frankfurt that's 3,000 square foot, which they're moving their Frankfurt studio to, and it's got a load more space. So, and what if they also expand up in LA and Texas? Like, I mean, the game could have 1,500 or more employees in the next 5 years. I mean, they've got the Montreal studio, which is increasing size to like 100 employees over the next 2 years. It's mad. They are actively looking for people to join them. Like, whether it's junior level or super top level, it is worth trying. I've had friends that have tried to get a job at CIG, have been turned down, and then have reapplied a few months later with some more experience under their belt, even if it's just a little bit more experience, and knowing how to approach interviews a bit better, and they've been accepted. So it is worth applying for a job there if you are interested. And there is lots of jobs available. You can go to the Clan Imperium Games website. You see that. What else have we got here? Yeah, that 100% wipes are rare. I mean, this is the first one we've had, in like 18 months. I'm very much looking forward to base building. What about Concierge Pack and switch all my ships inside of it to another? So, okay. Anytime you upgrade a ship, you keep the base insurance of the package. So if the ship you had lifetime insurance, and then the package has lifetime insurance, and you upgrade it to any other ship, it will keep the lifetime insurance. It will move to the hull of the new ship, effectively. Poets. Have they fixed the bug making all male characters clones of each other? There was weird bugs with the female customization as well, with the hair and everything. I think that's fixed in the latest 3.15.1, I think.
Tricksy little hobbitses. Thanks for all you do. Have a beverage and meal of your choice on me.
Oh, Tradewind, FTW, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. I will have a beverage and a meal of choice. So I'm going to I'm been able to get more and more into board games again recently, because there's sort of like the restrictions in the UK have lifted a lot over the last few months, which is good. And most of my friends have been like double jabbed now and all that sort of jazz. So people are much more willing to meet up. And we went out the other week to a pub together, which has been so refitted. It was fantastic. It's still sort of alternative and metal and sort of like what it was like 10 years ago, but just clean and better tables and heating. And they had bought the place next to them so they could have a dance floor there. And I was like, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. It was like all the alternative and metal and people that are between like 25 and 40 all partying together still. It was good. It was a really good night out. But we're getting more and more into board games. I'm going around my mate's house later tonight to play Endeavour, which is a Euro board game that's probably my favourite Euro board game. like you have to expand out the sort of trading of whatever nation that you are. It's good. It's good love. And sort of all over the New World and things like that. Can you go down to the new Manchester studio and tour it? I am going to be arranging that once that new studio is open. So is it March or May they're opening these new studios? Around then, Q1, Q2. And then, yes, I'll be going there. We'll make sure we'll get some questions threads up. I say I will be organising that, assuming that CIG allow me to. They did offer me, just before coronavirus, I was organising a tour. But then, obviously, everything closed down. I will try and come to your question in a bit. I'm very slow answering questions, so apologies. Bored, great to hear your voice. Honeydew, I hope you're doing well, sir. I just got back from a deployment and got up to a 600i executive ship, you monster. How many Legatus Navums do you think we have at this point in the game? 100 plus? I don't know. I wonder if there's any way I can get that information from Cloud Imperium. There's a lot of information I would like from Cloud Imperium. Breakdown of devs. So, how many of their employees are devs? How many people are working for them? I mean, I'd like the breakdown of income. There's so many statistical based stuff that I desperately want from Cloud Imperium. I'm not sure what they'd give me if I asked for it. Do you think we're going to Avenger Titan on discount at the IAE? So we can probably get is a discounted game package. So typically they sell them for like $5 cheaper with a ship, and then upgrade that ship. It's possible they'll have discounted Avenger Titan. I think that if they did ever have a discounted Avenger Titan and discounted Avenger Titan package, they'd probably be the most sold packages. You'd have useful idiots like this boy going, you know what? If it's $10 more, it's sort of worth it to get the Avenger Titan, just because it's such a good ship, and it's so useful now, and all that sort of stuff. Did they make changes in 3.15 or earlier that cause you to red out more often in a fighter in your underwear? Flying in underwear because I lost all my flight suits. Wow. So they are currently building in GeForce exhaustion, but I don't think it's really much of a thing at the moment. You might red out... Maybe you do red out more without a flight suit on. I haven't actually tested it. Catching on things, how is the 400i overall? I mean, it's an okay multi-role sort of light explorer ship. It's luxury exploration. I mean, there's loads of other ships that do stuff better than it. I'm not a massive fan of the luxury feel for ships. I'd rather have Drake do an exploration ship like the Corsair, and then the Corsair's a bit bigger. So I prefer things like that than I do the luxury. But it's horses for courses. Some people are going to like that more. Some people are going to like the variants that ship brings. Where'd you get the cat suits? I was helped by someone in one the other day. There's where's the Star Kitten suit. I think they're a flare item. So you have to buy them from being a subscriber. So buy them off someone else. Someone else can give them to you. You can buy them from becoming an RSI subscriber and then doing it on the subscription shop. Do the Warborn CCU discounts last until the end of the IAE? Or do they only last a day or two? That's a good question. It will depend on what it says at the sale. I would always assume that it's only going to be a day or two, but it could be the whole thing. People still claim the game's a scam. People are allowed to do that. It's within their rights. I would say that they probably wouldn't be able to define... I don't think they'd be able to square away Star Citizen being a scam. They'd have to redefine what scam meant. So like, oh, well, actually, Star Citizen fits within these boundaries of what I mean by scam. Because obviously Star Citizen is, well, they're massively expanding their employees. They're spending all the money on the game, well, most of it. And they're obviously trying to make something, and you can argue that it's not going to be what they originally pitched. You can argue that it's going to take ages for it to do. You can argue that it's mismanaged or whatever else like that. But I don't think you can argue that they're, vaporwaring it or anything like that. Feel like speculating on the new ships, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Well, I've got a video on the leaks and rumours, so it's a lot harder to talk about them without giving spoilers. So very brief spoiler sort of thing, and I'll be vague. We have heard things like the CitizenCon for like a military APC vehicle, potentially using the same chassis as the Ballista. There's been rumours of the Argo Raft. There's rumours of the mobile refinery, although that doesn't appear potentially to be at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. But it might be. Might be stuff that I don't know about. Where would I buy A-grade parts for my 600i in-game? My guess is that we received a wipe because it made so much Alpha UEC from the Xenothreat event. So that's possibly true. I mean, people are given 100,000 Alpha UEC in addition if they did participate in Xenothreat still, so they're given a little bit more money. There was just generally a huge amount of money and merits flying around, and they wanted to sort of update the databases. It was time to clean it out and start again. It sort of makes sense. I don't know where you buy the different parts at the moment because it hasn't been relevant for so long. You can use the item finder. Finder.cornerstonebase.space. So if people want to find items, I recommend this bad boy. It is very useful. Really like this one. I think it's really useful. Urkel Games as well for ship components and outfitting ships is pretty good, and they do maintain a latest PTU version of it as well, so it's pretty useful. Why are all enemy NPCs male? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. They are all wearing helmets though, and they do have quite masculine figures. What else have we got here? So yeah, every 3 months you get a new buyback token, and that allows you to buy back using store credits. You can buy back using real money at any point from ships that you've melted, as long as they're not promo ship. What else have we got here? I appreciate all the love. Thank you very much for all the kind words. Do you think Clan Imperium will be able to support 1K more devs, both in terms of financing and content to develop in the next few years? Well, I mean, that was my major concern when I did that video and talked about it. It's like, it is a ridiculous amount of devs. Yes, they are making more money year on year, and it does actually look like 2021 we'll have to wait until the end of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, but it looks like it is going to be another record-breaking year for monies. They made almost, was it almost 80 million last year? Question mark? That might be vastly overestimating it. I need to look again. And we'll talk about the finances at the end of the year. But so we'll look at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. We'll look at what they made this year. We'll look at their finance reports because they actually typically produce a little report on them, which I find fantastic. Although they are a year in arrears. But that's a genuine concern. Because I would have expected, as they gear up to release of like Squadron 42 and the core of Star Citizen, the persistent universe, that they need less devs, not more. And this is a significant gearing up. Because it's a 5-year plan. It's a 5-year plan to get a huge amount of devs. It's just like, are they planning not to release Star Citizen as its first version for 10 more years? I mean, it's possible. I mean, What do you think about upgrading the Mercury Star Runner to the Reclaimer ship? So it's going to be a while before the Reclaimer has any true mechanics to it. Mercury Star Runner is my favourite ship. I mean, yeah, potentially upgrade to the Reclaimer. It might be worth getting a Reclaimer upgrade and just not applying it yet. Maybe they'll give the Reclaimer hull stripping when they have the salvage mechanics in, what's that, 3.18, I think, next year. Maybe they'll give it short-term hull stripping. But do they need a janitor? Almost certainly. Cloud Imperium probably recruiting janitors too. Star Citizen aside, how are you doing? What can chat to make this experience better for you? You do so much for us. I would like to make your job more enjoyable if I can. It's all good. Just watch my videos. Give feedback in the comments. Come and say hello when I do live streams. Give honest feedback. You're more than welcome to chuck me money, but you don't need to. I get a lot of money from you just watching my videos. And people like clicking on the NordVPN links and actually purchasing NordVPN or anything for the Game Glass and stuff like that at the moment. So if anything like that I advertise is useful for you and you want it, use my links. If it's not, then don't. If you don't like what I'm advertising, or you think I should be advertising something else that you think is useful for Star Citizen or gaming or your online experience, then tell me as well. I'm willing to look. Or if you think it's not, or if you think something I'm advertising is trash for some reason, feel free to tell me. My bias on my channel is that I would like Star Citizen to succeed. I want to make money and run my YouTube channel as a business. And I want to be able to keep employing Zin permanently. But those are my bias. Like, I'll cover Star Citizen. I'll try not to shy away from stuff that I don't like or whatever. I'll talk about it. But it's going to be very much what I don't like. And I'll talk about what the community, from the most part, so I see something on Spectrum, or it's great having Zin working for me, because she is entirely different mindset, and she's much more sort of negative or problematic. She'll see things that she doesn't like and just go, look, this, I hate this, or oh, this is terrible. I go, is it? I don't see it like that at all. So that's good, and she'll actually challenge me on stuff, and so you get the interesting podcasty bits sometimes. Some people get annoyed about it at some points. I think that there was a section of the community that got annoyed at me and Sin for not liking the Argo Cargo being the Ship Showdown winner. But that's true. I mean, I was like, it's a meme and cool. I mean, you're allowed to vote for that, but not best ship. It's not. I'm not even sure if it's the most popular. It was just memed on. That's the way I feel anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. The salt oozes from me. I have a real question. Tacos are in game. I just don't think you can purchase them yet. Based on the studio expansion, and Chris is moving to the UK, do you think Squadron 42 is about 2 years away? I was hoping it was going to be out the end of next year, but that is a fair point. If they're expanding like this, it suggests that it's not, doesn't it? So it suggests that maybe it is 2 years away. The problem is we don't know. And Cloud Imperium were very hush-hush about Squadron 42. Do you think the Redeemer will end up having modules? Thoughts? I think they said that they were going to have some form of modularity for the Redeemer. Any guesses how and when cargo loading is coming to the game? So I would expect to see, personally, cargo loading coming to game next year. And it will be a time and cost associated with loading and unloading at landing zones. So you can pay a bit more or whatever to have your cargo loaded quicker. Eventually you'll be able to do that manually as well if you want, and have all sorts of facilities. And I think that if the Redeemer gets some modularity, it'll be dropship modularity and maybe E-War and stuff like that. Do you think the database wipe had anything to do with AI being vastly improved? Yeah, partly that, yeah. I mean, so they moved over to a more efficient iCache system, and then a load of microservices, and they've sort of like been doing the replication layers and the new way that they're building server meshing. They need everything in place for it's actually, they're working on the final versions of things, or final versions of things. So they had to clear everything. Am I crazy thinking that for the first playable piece, Squadron 42 could drop by the end of 2022? You're not crazy, but it's looking less likely. I'm still hoping for it for them. Do you know when your org will be doing interviews? Good question. I need to talk to Zin. But yes, we need to start doing org spotlight stuff again. What else have we got here? Will we get another item for $400 million funding? Potentially. So I suspect that someone during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo or towards the end of the year or after it, whatever. So later this year, we'll have Chris Roberts' sort of letter from the chairman, maybe giving us some cool stuff as well for the $400 million funding mark. It's not accurate, though. So there is more funding that they've got from sponsorships and deals, from subscriber stuff, and from other sources. I mean, there's obviously refunds and stuff they've given as well, but that's a very small percentage as far as I'm aware. And there's obviously tax rebates too. Putting a pot of beans, garlic, shallots, mustard powder, maple syrup, onion, and turkey bacon. Anything else I should add? You just doing that, what is like a hot pot type thing? Yeah, Honeydew, that sounds quite nice as a sort of like a turkey hot pot type thing. I've come out of like quite a restrictive keto diet to eating carbs again, sort of clean carbs, but I won't have sugar in any form. I say any form, obviously. I won't have any added sugar in anything. How do you actually use your rec in game? So you're supposed to be able to use it to rent stuff in Arena Commander. So you go into the Arena Commander stuff, you'll be able to rent ships directly from there, or items and weapons for Star Marine. They are sort of in the process of revamping all the systems and theaters of war and things like that. It's through the Arena Commander electronic access, rather than in Star Citizen's Persistent Universe. Do certain ships only go on sale for one day during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo? Yes, so some ships like Idris and Javelin and limited hull ships will go on sale, like maybe. So typically what they do is they sell in 3 lots at different time zones for a small amount, a small allotment of those over like a 24-hour, 48-hour period. What's the best way to fix skin color and regain one's head? Wait for a bug fix? What do you think about the Pioneer? I love the idea of it, but it's changed somewhat. They've gone. It's now a much more expansive mobile factory rather than an outpost builder. So they are obviously sort of ramping up their plans for base building. Whatever happened to Theatres of War? They're still working on it. It was supposed to release it. It was supposed to be in our hands, sort of beginning of when the pandemic happened. So that sort of got delayed, and then they're going. Well, actually, we're reworking our network tech, so we're in a much better position to have a much more polished Theatres of War once some of this network tech stuff's done. That's the way I understand it anyway. Did they fix the Prospector seat bug? Don't know. I assume that's fixed in 3.15.1, but I don't know for sure. Hate to ask one question. Do you think Clan Imperium will see Squadron 42 in 2022? It's possible. At the very least, I think we'll see the start of the advertising campaign and stuff start to drop and be talked about a lot. Do you think the 2 areas are different enough? Yeah. I mean, it's a big gun difference. So the Inferno and Ion have different guns at the moment. I would like to see the Ion with more power again, but don't worry about that so much. But the Inferno has the benefit of it has damage resistance on its armor. Energy and physical damage. I think it's just 10%. They sort of normalized a lot of stuff. I do think they'll get a little bit different as they start to do some more variants of the components. Will manufacturers have 2 days again at the IAE? So, if you go to here, counts down to the IAE site. You can actually see that each day changes. Now, it might be that they stay there for an additional day, each of them, yeah? So, actually, Anvil Aerospace is there for 2 days, as is RSI, but there'll be a different manufacturer added each day. Yeah? See what I mean? So, day 1 is just Anvil Aerospace. Day 2 is Anvil Aerospace and RSI. Day 3 is RSI and Aegis Dynamics. And then the finale day, and I think in the Best in Show day, so day 10 onwards, typically what they have is rental terminals that you can rent all of the ships that were previously shown. Will manufacturers have... That's literally what we just talked about. Will we see insurance on gear like weapons, flight suits? We can spawn with them, or at least claim them back as soon as we die. There may be ways of doing that in the future. They are looking at that sort of stuff in game at the moment. Greetings, board. Love from South Indiana. Very different places. Would you agree if they can't make a playable finished game out of 300 million? And there are some serious issues to how the money's been spent. No, I don't agree with you at all. So, it depends on what the game is. They're making 2 games. Arguably, they're making 3 games with Theaters of War, which is dumb. But yeah, we'll call it 2 games because that's fair. And the scope of the game is ridiculous. So, and they are releasing things. It's just as the money is creeping in. I say it's not creeping in. As the money is flooding in, they're spending that on continued expansion of the project, while also releasing things along the way. They're releasing them in a sort of like odd way, a development as a service way, and you can certainly argue about that. How much do you think the Redeemer will cost? I think it'll be closer to what, $295? $295? Has performance improved in 3.15? Well, since I fixed my computer massively, so it's hard to tell. So there's loads of stuff you can do to improve performance. Turning off Windows diagnostic stuff. Resizable bar helped with me as well. Load of other tweaks and graphics options. I'm doing a video on it. 3.15.1. Well, 3.15 looks pretty good for performance for me. But sometimes cloud performance and like Horizon is pretty chonky compared. Yeah, so at the moment the Redeemer's $250. I'm thinking it's going to go up at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo because it's flyable. Do you find buying a main gear PC and join the PC Elites? I always build my own. I say I always build my own. Was sent an Alienware PC at one point. That's not from CIT or anything. That's from Aztec. Helping me out, and that was organised by me and Aztec. I don't get involved in Star Citizen promotions beyond them giving me free ships with no strings attached. If you want to give me free ships, no strings attached, I can give away my channel. Thank you. I will take those. And I'll also disclose it. So I'm video 101. I'm not even sure if that was a reference to those streamers getting some PCs and stuff. But it reminded me of it. That's why I said it. How do layaway CCU work? What? Layaway CO? I don't know what layaway means. Are they still planning to add pro wrestling to the verse? I hope so. I mean, they're planning to improve the FPS punchy mechanics, melee mechanics. Sure. Do you know what time the manufacturer ships will come out? No, not yet. It was between 2 and 4 p.m. UTC last time, wasn't it? But they have not confirmed, I don't think, time that will change each day. Next year is shaping up to be the most exciting year yet of Star Citizen. I hope it ends up being a blockbuster year for funding, content, and growth of the game. Yeah, me too. But I always want more now as well. But there are no G-strings attached either. No. Or are there? What's that video in the background? So the video is a mixture of me and Sin messing around in certain areas in 3.15 and of CitizenCon and just some other interesting gameplay footage either we've captured or have been in inside Star Citizen. What do you think about the when question in server meshing? I like the fact they're answering questions more detailed when they can. And I like the fact they said, look, we're doing some of this tech Q1, Q2 of next year. And then we're planning for server meshing for Q3, Q4 next year for static server meshing. It's great. How do I get past the bug on the PT doesn't allow me to select starting planets after customization? So, Riddick, that's annoying that you're having that bug. You go to support.robotspaceindustries.com and have a look. It's listed there. They talk about it. And their workarounds are there, I believe. They want to give you wrong information and tell you to do something that's not correct. What's frame rate and what resolution do you play at? So typically, when I'm playing, I get 40 to 60 frames or 40 to 55 frames, and I play at 1440p and record. So, but my computer's been relatively broken. It was broken here. So my frame rate is significantly higher now. Sort of closer to 50 to 60 in most places. Like Horizon, it struggles still, and it sort of drops to like 30 or whatever. In some places, I've got relatively good frame rates. Do you know if there will be military contract missions? Yeah. There's going to be things like Xeno Threat as missions, and there are going to be the ability to help the Navy and things like that, and much more lawful but very hard, more military contract-esque missions. Christian Connor, thank you very much for becoming a board gamer. I appreciate it. You star. Does Star Citizen have any kind of automatic cinematic camera modes similar to Red Dead Redemption? Not automatic ones. There's ones you can sort of preset, and I think you get missile cams and things like that. Do we have bomb cam? They might add some more in the future. There are cinematic cams, but it's not great. But you can F4 and move the camera around. Let me take the cap off my water bottle before I try and drink it. They change anything with ship claims in 3.15. So if you have a server crash, so if you get 30k and server crash, you can reclaim the ship without losing the cargo and its components, which is fantastic in an ASOP. They fixed some bugs with ASOP. I can't remember if there's done anything else. I've been playing 3.15 on the PT for so long now. Do they plan to improve character animations? Yes. So they plan to, along with networking stuff, reduce the animation delay times, have them smoothed up, have them less janky, have better prediction for them. And have more animations. What kind of price increase do you expect for the cat for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo? Is it $25? Did we say? Do you have an org? Yes, I joined loads of orgs, but there's also a BoredGamer org, which is more social, which we will start using for organisation purposes in the future. But it's going to be a social org rather than anything major. What's the best early game money making venture? It changes from patch to patch. Obviously, huge amounts of money to be made from cargo leveraging. It's a lot more safe now. Mining's pretty good fun. Bounty hunting, running's good. It depends what you want to do. If you can sit down and grind a mechanic for a long period of time, you will make a lot more money than someone that does not. Will ship prices keep on increasing, or is there a cap? So, in-game, it's going to be dynamic. Dynamically priced. It will change based on lots of different factors. Outside of the game, once a ship's released, Typically, they don't increase its price. Occasionally, they increase it very slightly because of some reasons, but typically that doesn't increase anymore. So once it's flyable, unless there's major changes or something, that's normally its cap. Did the new information about server meshing that just came out change your understanding of what server meshing will be in Star Citizen? No. They still want one global. The end goal of server meshing is still exactly the same, pretty much. It's utilized in a fractionally different way than I expected. They literally want to keep the server balance between all servers where possible. So if they've got 2,000 servers, they want all of them to be utilized if possible. So that means different load levels. Do you see what I mean? So sometimes a Javelin would be a server, but other times it wouldn't be if the servers are more overloaded or underloaded, which is interesting. Compared to where the game was last year, this time, waiting for Xenothreat as the first dynamic event, how do you feel about 2021 overall? Yeah, there's some great major changes and upgrades. I mean, I really enjoyed Xenothreat version 2. I wasn't a massive fan of the other dynamic event, which my brain has decided it's going to forget. That's how much I enjoyed it. At Lockdown, the Lockdown events. Looking forward to Jumptown version 2. I think there's been a lot of cool stuff this year, especially coming out of sort of lockdown. And do I always wish for more? Yeah, I do. It's been pretty good. What do you think about CIG removing ships for purchase? They normally release a World 1 version and a regular one, and I get that the World 1 Lifetime Insurance one be limited sale, but why do they remove the ability to purchase the standard version? What? Zini Beanie, have they removed the ability to purchase standard version with store credit? It's not. I buy them store credit all the time. What? Can you join multiple orgs? Yes. You have to have one as your main org, though. And some orgs don't allow affiliates, which is not my main org, but I'm still joining you, sort of thing. Right. Do we have any other questions? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. We're going to be covering some of it live. We'll do a video each day, starting from the 19th of November. Yeah, so there's going to be a load of new ships. There's going to be a load of stuff to do each day, and some interesting stuff beyond just the free fly and the expo. And we will be covering that heavily. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've got majorly planned. Tomorrow I'll probably get the video out about the server mission Q&A. I might get it out today to see how the metrics look at me. Oh, let's have a quick look at the Deadly Consequences trailer again. Boop. Music. Who would go here and do PvP? Who would go there and do PvP? So a lot of this works actually pretty well. And inventory and the medical gameplay does seem to work reasonably well. I mean, there's still a couple of bugs and things, but oh. Who has the right medipens on them at the time? Just use the medical gun. There's some cool stuff to find in loot crates. Femcrack armor's cool. But... 400 eye. Meh. Cool looking. Hercules A2. Got bombs. You win if you drop it on something. Thought it was cool. I liked it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. I've got the newsletter. Intergalactic Aerospace Expo next starts on Friday. Information Q&A was cool. Last chance to get the Origin 400i. Probably about to buy it again at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo if you wanted it. Looks like ships are getting 10 years insurance when bought at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo as well. Star Citizen Live was a bit disappointing this week. It was just them talking to Gavin Rodbury about random stuff, not even really related to games. Talked about a lot about the moon. Inside Star Citizen were cool. So they talked about the future of ship combat and sort of new damage types, new focused weapons like flak weapons and anti-infantry weapons on ships and things like that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they want to balance it for slower close range combat and fun and things like this. And it's like, okay, this sort of makes sense. We saw a bit of... Is this pyro gas clouds as a sneak peek? Yeah. Cool. Has CIG discussed Org 2.0 for next year implementation? No, they have not. And it's obviously a core thing. They need to get Org stuff in. I'm hoping that we were able to see people's Org tags under their names and on their ships so we know who's in whose Org. And that would be good, wouldn't it? What I mean is, for example, I can't buy the Mercury Star or Constellation Phoenix or upgrade them. Many ships can only be purchased for a limited time aside from getting them in-game. I don't just understand why they could make so much more money having all ships available for purchase at all times. But would they? So artificial scarcity is a thing. FOMO and artificial scarcity are marketing tactics. And Star Citizen is very good at making money when it does these sales and things. So... Do you expect the Perseus will be on sale? Yes. During the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo? Yeah. What's the earliest date I'll be able to buy the Ares? 19th of November is the earliest. What are the most lucrative missions to run? It depends. It literally depends. So for me, it's whatever mechanic you enjoy, and then can you grind it? There's certainly some things you can tweak to do with like reputation systems and things like that to make a lot more money. We take the baseline of 60,000 for 700 employees. That's 42 million for 1 year. So I actually expect Northern England and pretty dog shit rates for staff there. For the gaming industry in general, I would expect it to be more like 45 to 50,000. But yes, the Passionate Gamer, are there concerns about is it possible for CIG to have 1,500 plus employees in 5 years' times financially? That is a big question. I mean, maybe they're literally looking at their figures at the moment and going, look, when we become more mainstream and Squadron 42 releases and we actually start like appearing at some of these game shows, we could triple our sales every year. So, okay, well maybe they will be able to do it then. It just I think 1,500 employees is a lot, and that's very expensive. So I liked it when Sin was pushing me around on the trolley. Actually, no, I'm the one pushing. Zin's on the trolley. There. Do you think we'll see Pyro at next year's CitizenCon? Yes, but I also think that we will have Pyro either Q3 of that year already, or just about to get it. That's what I'm hoping. The new Anvil Liberator, can it be a reasonable multi-role ship? It is. I mean, it's focused on being a vehicle and ship carrier. I mean, you might be able to use it for a little bit more stuff. I mean, it's great at cargo carrying. It carries cargo. It carries ships and vehicles. It carries marines. It's like you could use it as a way to transport vehicles and tanks and ships for sale, and cargo for sale. So you could use it as a trade ship. You could use it as a fleet support ship. You could use it as an assault carrier. How much of a price increase will the banner measurement get? I mean, anywhere between... It'll be worth anywhere between $750 and $1,000 eventually. That's the sort of rough price. I think on the lower end of that. Montoya and people think on the higher end of that. What do you think happens if the funding is reduced by 70 to 50%? What, year on year? I mean, they'll have to adjust accordingly. They've got good buffer, for sure. And I suppose the joy of saying they've got capacity for a certain amount of people doesn't mean they have to actually fill that capacity. Gamescom's where it's at now. Yeah, Gamescom and your own conferences, yeah. Maybe. Probably. Will there come more PvP preset up interactions and more worth to do PvP? Because right now it feels like it isn't. Yes, so 100% there's going to be events that are focused on PvP, like Jumptown version 2. There's going to be a lot more for PvP players to do. There's going to be a lot more accessibility for players that want to do PvP to get involved with that. But also, some missions are going to be much more focused to PvE. There's going to be much safer missions from PvP, and there's going to be much more sort of PvP orientated areas. Does your mum like Star Citizen? She likes me. She watches my videos. I don't think she understands what the fuck's going on. Do you think they'll still get 3.16 out by the end of the year? I think that we'll have a open PTU of 3.16 by the end of the year. That's what I'm thinking. Hey, Bored. Next year, I will have been watching your channel for a year, and some of your content actually got me into the game. I recently started getting into streaming and creating content for Star Citizen sci-fi games on Twitch and YouTube. Do you have any more advice how to grow your channel or to get more out of growing a content base? I'm excited for the future either way. Plan your goals to some extent, even if it's just roughly, and have a bit of a routine with some sort of I'm planning to stream these days or whatever. I mean, I certainly don't live by these rules, but getting a bit of a, if you want to grow regularly, just stream regularly, talk to your audience, be responsive to that, watch other people's videos, watch other people's streams, get involved with the community, talk a lot, and don't necessarily keep on spamming your content, but if people know who you are, they're going to want to see your content, and bounce ideas off other creators, watch their videos for ideas and their opinions, try to be reasonable. You'll find that you will be unique because you are you, and you are unique. So you don't have to necessarily look for a vibe. Feel free to message me and talk about it occasionally. I mean, I'm relatively busy, but I do have time to answer messages and have a bit of a chat and go, that was terrible, or that's good, or yes, actually, all your content that you look back on is going to be worse than the content that you did the year later. And it's okay to do stuff wrong, and it's okay to experiment. It's all good. Have you and Zin already tried out going into medical gameplay by using your Cutlass Red, and is it worth grinding credits, making it career? It's fun, and we've done a little tiny bit of it that was broken when we tried it, but we will be doing a load of that this week. Do you believe the expansion of devs is due to them wanting to get started right away on the next two planned Squadron 42 games? Maybe. I think that there is a big call for them doing Theatres of War and making Star Citizen's Persistent Universe, actually finishing off that game. It's going to take a long time to finish off Squadron 42. Star Citizen's Persistent Universe, because there's so much there. And yeah, I mean, Squadron 42, effectively episode 2 and 3. I mean, maybe. I thought there'd be less work for those once they've got the first one done, because they've got the core engine done. What do you think about Star Citizen having realistic space warfare? This means orbits. I think they're going to focus on fun and then see what they can do with realism and believability and like additions like that. So it has to be fun and gameplay above everything else, and that is what they are doing for the most part. What home internet up down speeds do you have? So I use fiber company in my area, which isn't a mainstream one, and I get 900 up and 900 down. I also have a second backup line which is how I get my TV package through as well. I've got 2 internet connections in my house. It's sensible to do so for me. And I don't have to worry about my internet being down for a day. And I also have a mobile backup as well. So, do you think we need something to prevent 10 to 50 plus players flying around and killing solo players? Like PvP free servers or... you want a limited amount of fear that PvP could happen to you in your quests, or that pirates would attack you or whatever. Yeah, I think that's sort of fine. You won't get initiated on PvP when the game's finished. There's going to be areas that are 99% safe from all forms of PvP, and you don't really have to worry about it. But there's going to be things that you can do that you go, well, actually, it's worth me having an escort or being a bit more sensible. And you're only going to get engaged in PvP if you're being like loud, the way I describe it. They have to detect you and things like that. Anthony, he's secretly buying Wing Commander and making entirely separate Wing Commander game. Oh my god, can you imagine? I'm sure Chris Roberts does want to do that. Toby or track IR. So Toby tracks eyes, and track IR tracks head, basically. Toby eye tracker is fantastic. I've got one. I don't have a track IR at the moment, I don't think. Are you excited for the Hull series? I do think there will be magnets for... There will be magnets for Eclipse Griefers. I mean, yeah. They if you don't defend them, they're going to get shot a lot. Especially now that you can sort of loot ships to an extent when you blow up a ship. The items that were in it, so the FPS items, like gear and space stuff, will be left to the side of it in a little box. And you can actually loot ships more readily. People will want to steal your delicious cargoes. I don't think you're going to get griefed that much though. Right. I appreciate all the love. Thank you. What do you think about how Star Citizen having? And that's what it literally talks about that. Bam, bam, bam. Right. I am going to find someone else for us to look at and to stream. Yeah, so very much appreciate for joining me today. We're going to be covering a load of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo next week. So you can expect daily videos on that and us talking about what's at the expo hall, what's available to buy, probably a live stream most days, me and Sin playing. Really looking forward to 3.15.1. And there's going to be loads of stuff that we do for ship tours, and we'll do ship buyers guides of whatever ship, for sure. So I will pass you over to Morphologist, because he's a good boy. So give Morph some love. Thank you very much for watching me today. You guys take care. Have a great weekend, and I will see you in the verse at some point. And if you need to get hold of me, you can get me at discord.gg/BoredGamer or rich@boredgamer.co.uk. Yeah. Okay, guys.